everybody, it's Sarah Nissen and Chef Zane making meatballs. Zane may or may not be joining me, we'll see. But I'm making dinner. I figured I would just go live and share with you what I'm making. And the fridge is open.
When you make the mixture that you put the meat into, can you let me stir it up first?
Yes. So the eggs, is that what you're talking about?
Like the eggs and spices and stuff.
Sure. Can you close that?
Would you put all of that extra stuff in?
Would you please help me with the mix or no?
No.
Not tonight? Okay. Zane's not going to be helping tonight.
Then.
So it'll be Chef Sarah.
Then we're going to put the breadcrumbs or whatever you put. We don't put the breadcrumbs.
We don't put breadcrumbs, no. So we got 3 eggs. Large eggs. These are the eggs from Mission Mountain that I get from
Mix the parmesan in.
Azure Standard. Love them. They're just not grass fed. They're pastured. Oops. Pastured. Okay, I can show you guys a trick to get that out. They're pastured, soy-free, corn-free, from, where are they from? Wyoming or someplace? Anyway, to get the eggshell that goes in there out, you just use that. It comes right out. I throw this away. Then we need oregano and basil, I think. Oregano, basil. I don't have any, I was gonna turn that light on. I don't have any fresh basil right now. That's better. That's better. Okay, good, you can see that. So let's see, 1 tablespoon minced garlic, 1 tablespoon dried oregano, 2 teaspoons basil, 1 tablespoon of dried oregano, 2 teaspoons of basil. That's a lot. These are the best meatballs that we've ever had. Seriously. So they come from this book. I'll show you in a minute. It's one of our favorite books. It's not a gluten-free book or anything. And these actually do have a little bit of dairy in them. 1 tablespoon of dried oregano. That's dried oregano. 2 teaspoons of dried basil. I'm sure that's basil. Yep. Fresh basil's better, but we used it all up. We don't have any more right now. Let's see, 1 teaspoon freshly ground pepper. We don't have any freshly ground pepper, so we use the organic pre-ground pepper. And then we have 2 teaspoons of salt, 1.5 cups of freshly grated parmesan. 2 teaspoons of salt. Chef Zane has already prepared the parmesan for us. So we get the really old parmesan, and I was told we don't eat dairy except for that and butter. And I was told by my naturopath that the really old, 2 years old or older parmesan from, okay, there we go. 2 years old or older parmesan from Reggiano in Italy is okay to eat in moderation. So that's the one thing we eat, because otherwise we wouldn't hardly be able to eat anything. So we eat Parmesan, and we get that from Costco actually for a really good price, because it tastes good and we like to eat food, real food. So these have so much cheese in them, and that's what makes them so good. So you can't do these dairy-free, I'm sorry, but you gotta do the cheese, you just gotta. So I apologize if you can't have dairy, because you'll be missing out on these, but there's lots of other things to eat. Okay, and so then we're gonna do some chopped up garlic, and then 1.5 cups of cheese. Did you measure the cheese thing already? I don't know if you did. So I have to measure it myself. Alright, I'll bring you over here. Doesn't look like he did the cheese yet. So he did some of it, but not quite all of it. You're gonna get to see me grating some cheese. This is the big block from Costco. They actually have a 3-year-old one at Costco, and that's what this one is. I think it breaks down the casein being aged for 17 years or 3. Oh, yum. Cheese. Okay, that's 1 cup. It doesn't seem to affect us like a glass of milk would, even though we do raw milk. Still, usually makes me really tired. Oh, I can't talk very well. I'm grating cheese. Okay. That's 1.5 cups, I would say, approximately. So then we'll go ahead, carry this back over here. Dump it in. And we're going to need some garlic. I'm thinking this would be better if it was slightly higher up. Not super easy to adjust this stand though. Whoa, there we go. Okay. So now we're going to do the garlic. So now we need 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. I've been keeping my garlic in the fridge because it's been so hot in our house that it's actually been going bad. So there we go. I think that's going to be enough. I wonder. That looks better. Probably about that much. 1 tablespoon. Okay, now I get to show you the awesome way to. So you cut off that end that was attached. Peel that off. You want to have a sharp knife too. You want to be careful, but we have a knife sharpener that we use. I do a lot of cooking, so it's good to have the right tools. Makes things easier. Then, best way to peel it if you're going to be chopping it, like that. You take it and it just falls out. Since we're going to be mincing it up anyway, it's perfect. And you get to take out some of your aggression if you've had a bad day. Okay. And then we chop it. There's a piece of peel. And if you do feel like chopping more, you can always throw it in the freezer. kind of find it therapeutic to chop garlic and things, so I kind of like it. I mean, you could probably use a garlic press, but I don't know, I like it. Okay. So anyway, today it was really, really, really warm outside, but it has cooled off really nicely. It's become overcast, and it was raining or drizzling a little bit earlier, which was nice. This is probably my favorite knife that we have. It's the Meatballs Wursthof. I was gonna say Sudoku. Sudoku. Isn't that a game? I don't actually know what kind of knife it is. I don't think it came with our set though. Sudoku knife? What is it called? If you think of what it's called and you can post it in the comments for me, that would be great. I don't think it's called Sudoku, because that's a math game. Alright, 1 tablespoon of garlic. Okay, excellent. And I have extra so I can put in the freezer, which is awesome. I think I may have done that last time, but I like chopping garlic, so. Okay. Slide that to the side. Throw that in there. Make sure it's always check again. It says 1 tablespoon. Look how pretty that is. Then next we have, so this recipe calls for breadcrumbs and milk. And the milk is to hydrate the breadcrumbs. We don't use that, and we don't add the milk. So we just use arrowroot and tapioca starch, 1/3 cup of each, to bind them together. That's what I'm gonna go get. Okay, so we have the arrowroot, 1/3 cup. We're literally putting everything together in here. Tapioca, 1/3 cup. Looks like a lot of starch, but it makes a lot of meatballs. So that's that, and I believe that's everything. And then we add the meat. 1 pound ground beef, and it calls for lean ground beef, and I would actually agree with that. Normally we do not buy lean ground beef because we want the fat, but in this case, the fat just runs out on the cooking sheet. So we're going to put in lean ground beef. I'm also getting a parchment paper because we're going to use 2 parchment covered baking sheets for this one. And I should preheat the oven at this point to 400. Watch out, dog. There's a dog. Okay, Zane, do you want to mix the stuff together?
Yeah.
All right.
What about putting the flour in next time? Whisk it.
Did I leave the flour out before?
I think you did.
No, it was the milk.
Oh, yeah.
Out before. The flour I didn't leave out. I think. Okay, so this is all of the eggs, the garlic, dried oregano, dried basil.
This won't come off.
1 teaspoon of dried thyme. I almost forgot that. 1 teaspoon of dried thyme. I don't have time for this, Zane. I don't have time
Weird.
in there. What?
Seems weird.
It's weird not to have time?
No, not that.
You need a different mixer.
I mean, it seems weird because it's thicker than last time. Yes.
I don't think it's thicker. I think you didn't use a whisk.
I think I did use a whisk at first. I think I just didn't put the flour in last time. I'm done.
You're done? You left it in there for me to deal with? Oh, it's harder than you thought. Okay then. Yeah, I wouldn't have used a whisk. I would probably use this. I did use the flour last time. Anyway. Okay, so as I was saying, I would use lean ground beef because they become really runny and don't stay formed when you use something else. So we got the 75% fat ground beef from US Wellness. We used to use that, and that is really good for burgers and for pasta sauce and things like that. But for these meatballs, you want less fat than that. So I think this new meat we got, we ordered it from, where did we order it? Oh, we ordered it from Azure. And it is called, it's quite good. It's tougher than the other one. So here's the pork we get. I don't know if you can see that. It's probably backwards because for some reason it's backwards on Facebook. But this is the ground pork. Excellent pork. You can really taste the difference if you get pastured pork versus non-pastured. It just really, it has a yucky, porky taste to me once I've been spoiled by this. So 1 pound of ground pork. And then here's the ground beef. They come frozen individually like this. I just thawed it in some hot water. So this is what comes from Azure. It's Cunningham Meats. It ends up being about, I think it was $6.60 a pound coming from Azure, which for grass-fed and grass-finished beef is quite a good price. And it's lower in fat than the other one, which in this case, I'm draining off any of the liquid because we don't want as much liquid, is good. Okay, so then what we do is we literally just mix this together. And then we're going to preheat the oven, which we should have been doing, but it makes too much noise. Preheat the oven to 400. And then line a couple baking sheets, because we have smaller ones, with parchment. And then roll them up into 2-inch meatballs and then bake them for about 25 minutes at 400. And oh god, I wish you could smell this because of the cheese in there. God, they're phenomenal. Then we eat them. Tonight we're gonna have some rice pasta with butter and parmesan with them. Right now we're on a diet where we're not, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say the name of it or not, but we're on a special diet where we don't eat, it's a trademark name, so anyway, we're not eating salicylates and it's specific special limited stuff, and tomatoes is one of them, so we don't eat ketchup or don't want to over mix it, just want to mix it till everything's mixed in. Ketchup or spaghetti sauce or anything like that. So we just have that with pasta, plain pasta. Sometimes we've cut out grains and rice before, but now that we're doing this diet, we really have to kind of eat something, so we're, you know, doing it. Okay, I think that's nicely mixed. Then you just make one giant meatball on top of spaghetti. All covered in sauce. There it is. Perfect. We'll divide that up and do a whole bunch. Now we're saying you could probably turn this into a meatloaf, but the meatballs are just so delicious. So I'm going to turn those into some meatballs and call it good. Alrighty. Just gonna cover it with some parchment. Take it, make some meatballs. I think I can just do like, I don't get precise, I'll just form them and then move them around. Oh, I'm getting hungry. Getting hungered. Okay, just kind of tell if they're the right size, their feel, and then I roll them out to a nice, that was not quite big enough. Nice round shape. And that fresh garlic smells so good in there. So these are one of Zane's favorite things. Typically, he'll eat some for dinner, then he'll want some for breakfast, then he'll want some for lunch tomorrow. So if you happen to have extra, they also freeze well. We never do. I think I'll do 8 on one sheet. The sheets are kind of small. See if that fits them all. Cover these over. Start the oven on now. Turn that over the opposite direction of the way it's rolling so it doesn't roll up again. And that's a little not mixed in there. Just put it in the middle. This parchment stuff is so nice to work with because you don't have any mess on the sheet cookie sheet afterwards. Meatball sheet, I guess it is. The meatball sheet afterwards. That's too big. That is too big. I have a couple extra here. That's pretty small. So we'll just slide it over and add one more row. How about that? I think that's exactly how many we had last time. It was about one over that. Okay, let me roll it up. Then I'll post a photo when they're done and let me know if you want the recipe. I will post that. Probably create a blog post with it actually because these are one of our favorites. At some point these should go into one of the books because we've changed the recipe from its original. We made it gluten-free. Yeah, you can't do these dairy-free, I don't think. I mean, you could, but they wouldn't turn out the same because the gist of them is that parmesan in there. But you could try unless you have a complete allergy to dairy. It doesn't have any lactose, but it does have casein still, but I think the casein is broken down in a way that's more easily digestible and less inflammatory, according to my naturopath. I wouldn't eat it every day, but I think it's good. Okay, there. So once the oven's to 400, those will go in, and then we'll have dinner shortly. Excellent. All right, hey Alex. Making meatballs. Probably don't want to watch this. Or maybe you do, I don't know. Maybe you'll make it for your husband. All right, anyway, we'll see you later. Have a great weekend, rest of the weekend. Short, but tomorrow's the day off, so. All right, we will put these in the oven and talk to you later. Bye.